Well, as we told you last night, Home Depot finally confirmed that it was the victim of a massive credit card data breach and that the hacking may have happened as early as last April, threatening millions of customers and rivaling, if not exceeding, last year's cyber attack on Target. Shoppers, today we learned that the attorneys general of Connecticut, Illinois, California, they're going to take the lead in a multi-state probe into the attack. New York and Iowa officials will also participate in the investigation.
Well, Home Depot is the latest victim of recent big data breaches. So why does this keep happening, and is the problem fixable? Joining us now, Alan Brill. He's Senior Managing Director of Cybersecurity at Kroll, the risk advisory firm. Alan, nice to have you with us. Every day there's a new headline. So Home Depot, Target, Apple to some extent. Why does this keep happening?
You're right. It's very much the victim of the day. And it keeps happening because ultimately we're not taking steps to make it stop happening. Very simply, look at what's happening. This is not a case in which somebody breaks into a computer and an hour later they find out and they start to fix it. These are cases in which the break-in and the theft of data has lasted for days or weeks, or in the latest case, apparently, since April. That's a long time to have malware running in your system and not notice it. So what we need to do is to get the motivation, whether it's from the board or senior management, to get folks to get the help if they need it, to look at their systems and find out what's really running on their POS systems.
How can it be that you wouldn't notice something like this for 4 or 5 months?
You have to understand that the folks that write the malware are very good at this.
And who are they? Where are they?
They are in Eastern Europe. They are in Asia. They are all over. This is big business. This is not a kid who has nothing better to do in their basement.
Organized crime.
Organized crime with a digital outlook. And like everything else, they keep making their product better, more stealthy, harder to find, memory resident, so that when you look on the disk, you don't actually see anything.
You know, you heard our story in our coverage about what Apple is announcing, this Apple Pay mobile payment system. A lot of companies are trying to do something with this. Is this going to be the new way around all of this? You know, you don't use a credit card. You don't have that magnetic strip that you swipe and that can be hacked into. What do you think is going to happen?
I think that what we're seeing with Apple Pay is the start of perhaps a new paradigm in the way that we pay for things. Remember, Apple didn't just come up with this by themselves. They are dealing with some of the largest banks in the country and in the world, some of the largest retailers with the card brands, so that you now will have a way to pay for something at a point of sale where you're not exposing your actual credit card number, but rather a credential that can be turned into your account, but very securely. And
is it safe?
You know, we're going to have to wait until the specific system is tested.
That's a careful answer.
It's the right answer, but I think it's really something that's on the right track. I don't think that the brands and the banks and the retailers would be working together if they didn't have some indication that this was being done right. It will be tested because you know that some of the first people online, after the people who've been there for a week to buy this new stuff, are going to be the hackers. They're going to take it to understand the software, to reverse engineer the software.
Very quickly, all of these big companies, whether it's Home Depot or Target, they must invest millions in their own computer security. But it hasn't worked.
Yes.
Are there companies, security companies out there that do it better than others?
There are companies that look at things a little differently. For example, one of the things that we've learned in looking at hundreds and hundreds of breaches is that ultimately you have to figure out what it is that went wrong, where that bad software is. And if you have the tools that can go into a network, lock on to computers and tell you what's actually running, you can differentiate between those machines that have malware and those that don't, and you can stop it.
You make it sound very easy, but I know it's a lot more complicated than that. Thank you so much, Alan, for coming by. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Alan Brill with Kroll.